Haha! Boom! He's gone. That's it. Very easy, push people over. How can we actually have balance? So let's look at 7 ways you can actually have a work-sport balance. Because people often work too hard, but some people watch too much sport. Either way, striking a balance is going to be best. Do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. This is the well-worn quote that comes to mind when I think about having enough time for work and sport at the same time. At the same time, having enough time, work and sport, how can that be done? After all though, most of us sports fans, if you like only one particular sport, that's okay too. You would never work though and would watch sport or your sport all day if you could. Of course, this is not possible because you have to find a balance to satisfy both of these time-sapping things. Now that's easier to do than you think, so long as you decide on what your ambitions are first. How ambitious are you in sports? You need to question this toward yourself. So when I was 7 years old, I wrote in my school copybook that I wanted to be a sportsman when I grew up. And many sports followers are the same. Of course, at that time, I wasn't old enough to understand the ways of the world then, but I am now and realise that life demands money and it wants it instantly. But sport is just as instantaneous as there are games and contests all of the time to interest us, especially with television and the internet. So we have to find a way of establishing what our ambitions in sport are before we can look or even start looking at changing our work. Because it's really important. Our brains love action. So sport is really important, as does the importance of our work. Now, even as you age, realizing your physical ability or abilities is a great way to start, certainly as a young person who dreams of professional sports or a professional sports career, as they will largely dictate the possibility for you of becoming a professional sports athlete. So yes, your dreams do matter, but even as an adult, as I say. But it's not the only way for you to decide what ratio of time you'll spend or that's spent on the sport in your life, and where work fits into the mix as well. Because let's face it, you may need to work to finance your sport, at the beginning at least. Here are 7 proven ways to help you decide where your sporting ambitions lie. Once you decide on your feelings towards them, it will help you choose how much time you spend on sport in your adult life, because unfortunately your youth is gone and it ain't coming back. Let's look at player longevity. Number 1. Although you may have great physical ability to play a specific sport, you have to find out how long the athletes in that particular sport spend playing in their professional career. That can be a great thing for you. Why? Well, for example, if you love the sport of, say, tennis, that's a great way to do business as an adult. Then by your mid-teens, you'll have a need to be moving towards the professional ranks. That's just the reality of this generally individual sport. And as it's a non-contact individual sport, if a player shows their speed early on in the game of tennis, then they are usually well able to compete with adult athletes. And so the competition to get on tour is heightened. And as a result, it's then more difficult to earn a great income playing the sport. So when the competition is high, despite your ability, it might be more difficult to get in. Whereas if you're a football goalkeeper, you may not be expected to reach your peak until maybe your late 30s or even, believe it or not, your 40s. And knowing your sport and its shelf life increases the chances of you gaining a professional contract. And if you don't make it, then you can decide on other areas of work for your life instead. The second way is for you, or people around you, to decide on the most successful sport for you. Now, many people just play, say, the sport they love, but their athletic talents may be better suited to another sport. It's best then to get guidance on what sport would be best suited for you early on in your sporting career. However, if you're still not sure, and even adults trying to do business, trying to play something, they don't want to look bad at a sport. So if they're not sure, because many sports are varied, you might be sure as a youngster or as an adult, but as a child, if you want to be in the professional ranks when you're younger, you need to quickly decide on what one you're best at. Because if you want a chance to be a professional sports person, it's your talent that will get you noticed when you're very young. Because scouts, people out there, managers, coaches, they know that ability multiplied by youth is a very good thing. With that all said, you need to make at least a spark of interest in the sport and a passion for the way of life of a professional sports person to help you decide. Number 3 is being open to other employment areas within your favorite sport. Now, this is an interesting way of doing things, because being a professional sports person looks great on paper, but sometimes life throws you a curveball and you can't play anymore, or the sport advances beyond your reach. Things change. If you are unable to compete for whatever reason, and you put all your eggs in that basket within a professional sport, then you need to have a plan B instead. There are lots of employment options in other areas of your sport, or in sport in general too. Think of how you can look across the level of sport and become happy. You could be a coach, or a physiotherapist, an agent, or an executive. Now, there are many other options to keep you working in the world of sport. And the bottom line is, it's exciting. There's all competitions, so you can go to another sport. Now, once you pick an area of interest and stick at it, you have a lifetime to master it. Think of that aging goalkeeper again. Your peak will come later. And you will find clients that will employ you along the way. Number 4 then is accepting. Yep, you got to accept it, that there is huge competition for places in professional sport, no matter what your role. So you gotta bring your A game, because sport by its very nature is competitive. Many people want to work in the area of sport. The best will tell you, I've spoken to them, you need to accept that it's not going to be the most lucrative area for most people who work in sport. But if you love what you do and you're good at it, then it's better than working a desk job. There's no doubt about that. Think of actors though. There's many that want to act, but few get to the very creme de la creme, top of it all. Number 5 is establishing what you can give to a sport. You have to realize you got to give something, because everyone has an ability that most other people don't have. And you need to be able to establish what your ability is and then develop it. Because not everybody has what it takes to become the best coach. And that may seem as the most obvious job or position outside of playing. But lots of people spend their life thinking they are great coaches. And that's good for you because they're not specializing in a particular area of sport that they may be much better at than coaching. So it lessens your competition in the area that you may choose to work in. So even though you have passion, it's about being smart about the value you can give to the world. And it is a world of sport. And once you find out that sport really needs your talents, then approach those that need it most. Number 6 is linking up with winners. I've mentioned competition, so winners are at the top. Everyone loves a winner, and they'll love you too once you link up with, well, winners in sport as well. Now, more importantly though, owners, head coaches, and those that employ people in the field, the general field of sport, will notice your ability to be interested in that value that you gave to that winner. So these are the important things, because by linking up with winners, other sporting employment opportunities, and I've mentioned just a few there, will arise. And like all competitors, just go out and take them, grasp them, fight for it, and get it. The last one I'm talking about today is being an expert in your field of sport. In your field of sport. Finding that niche, whichever way you pronounce it, in the world of professional sport is important, because that's where less competition lies. So we're talking about competition always, and we're looking at a way in. So where less competition lies is where you can establish yourself as the go-to expert. Once you've done that, you'll be making money in the world of sport and spending all your time at the thing you love. And guess what? Real work will be a time burden on other people who are just, well, looking out the window and dreaming of all the days of being involved in professional sports. So you'll get there. Just follow those guidance. Until next time, hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you have. Have a wonderful day.